fellow adopters or potential adopters. Today I'm going to bring to you a product review which you will be able to find down in the link in the description below, and the most useful product that I have ever had I'm going to tell you all about right now. It's something that really helps children with their sleep, and it really helps adults to be able to get a full night's sleep in. I don't know whether you've ever had the experience with either your own children, or you're already an adopter, or you've heard of parents that have found that actually it doesn't matter what they do, their children always wake up in the middle of the night, or they always wake up early. And of course you could potentially have blackout blinds and use curtains that block out all the light. But for some children that are afraid of the dark or want to get out to the toilet in the night, then that's not always the best solution. Of course you can have a night light as well, which will help them to find their way. But actually the nightlight then sort of negates the fact of having the blackout curtains or blinds. When we were fostering, we found that some of the children that we had were very poor sleepers, and this undoubtedly was down to their abuse pattern and situation. So we had a look around on the internet to see what we could find that would actually help us to have better night's sleep. And I must say that of all the things I've ever bought for any of the foster children, for my adopted boys, this is the product which far outweighs and is the best product. I guarantee if you get this, you will really have a much better time with your sleeping arrangements. So if you haven't adopted yet, it's well worth investing in one of these. The product is called the GRO CLOCK. Okay guys, so this is just to show you what this GRO CLOCK looks like when it's in action, and you can see that flashing star there. So when you want to put the timer on, you just press this button here, and you can see what happens when he gives you a little wink, and gradually he turns into a night time, and you can see all those stars popping up. And what happens overnight is they gradually disappear one by one, so that the child knows that it's getting closer to the time when the sun pops up again. So that's a simple instruction. I'm sure there's many other features on here, and we always set the clock different times during the week as we do at the weekend. I've just demonstrated to you that actually we still have the GRO CLOCK in one of my son's rooms, and he's now 11 years old. So we're not using it as a GRO CLOCK anymore, we're actually using it as a dim night light, and the blue light is really good for not disturbing his sleep. So it's actually seconded up as a really good dim night light. But what we found with the children that we were looking after is not only does it turn to yellow when you want it to be the morning, is that actually if they wake up in the middle of the night, they have some idea where they are in that nighttime arrangement because of the number of stars that are still left on the clock. Okay, so you can see the size of it here. It's really handy size. It could go on any shelf really, and it's always plugged in, so you would need a plug for it, but that's good in a way because then you don't need to have to worry about batteries. So what happens throughout the night in sort of regular segments is each of the stars disappear one by one. In the morning, when you set the timer for whatever time you want, then the colour changes to a yellow. So what we found is that the boys were very much able to determine what the time was by knowing when that colour was going to change. And this is brilliant for when you have the change in the seasons, when you're going an hour forward or an hour backwards, when children say to you, but it's already light, and it's 4:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. They soon get used to the fact after a while that they're not looking at the outside light, they're looking at the GRO CLOCK, and they learn to adjust their sleeping patterns accordingly. And of course then if you want to adjust, you can put it onto more than one timer, so potentially you could have it for a certain time if you need to get them to preschool or whatever during the week, or you've got to get up for work, you set to one time, and then if you want a little bit more of a lie on at the weekends, you can set it to another time. I mean, you've got to be realistic about the time that you set it, because what you're asking them to do is not to disturb you really until that clock goes yellow, because you're saying it's now the morning, so you don't want to set it for a time that you know is not achievable to them. So say, for example, they generally always wake up at 6 o'clock. Well, you wouldn't really set the alarm for much later than that. You would say, could you stay though in your bed until it turns yellow, but you know you set that to 6 o'clock and you know that's a realistic time for them to stay in their bedroom. So as they get older, I mean, obviously you wouldn't do that with a really young child, but as they get older, they would learn then, if they did wake up before it turned yellow, that they could just play for a little while in their bedroom. Helpful thing that I've ever had throughout all the time that we fostered and adopted. So, and I hope that you find it's really helpful for you. If you think this channel, which is all about adoption, family life tips, advice, support, the highs and lows, is something that you would be interested in, then please take the time to subscribe, and I'll see you on my other videos. Goodbye.